Okay, turn this.
It just says chat or me.
They have several divisions. This one happened to come out of St. John's. And a lot of the members, we went shopping for them, actual food shopping. Got them some of the necessities they need, the ones that were shut in and couldn't get out. And that kind of got a ball rolling where every Tuesday, the first time of course, we got to focus on Crescent City with our small staff. We help the county out a little bit, and it's always nice to give back to them. But every Tuesday now, we just do the shut-ins in Crescent City that are on the list. And
Okay.
if we can't, make the delivery, we still try and stop by and say hello to a couple of them. I know we had some programs me and you discussed about getting going, and really didn't happen with the phone calls. So we've been making stop and talks, keeping our social distancing.
So one question for you. How does someone get on that shut-in list? Does that come from the county, or how does that work?
That went, the Women's Club, and I believe it was Barbara was here, or somebody at the Women's Club might be able to fill us in. They were getting food delivered there. They gave us, the first list came through the state, through the sheriff's office. Then the second list we got was pretty much matched up what we had, but I got it from the Women's Club. And they get food delivered every Tuesday, and we go ahead and pick it up and then deliver it in Crescent City for them. Well, not just us, a lot of other volunteers. And it's a good thing. The people have been really appreciative, and it gives you a good feeling when they need it. And some of them can't get out, and a lot of them are high risk, so they don't want to get out.
Right.
And Winn-Dixie's been good to us too, donating some food. Pretty much.
Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much that is about all I had to say, unless there was some questions. And I did talk to, unless somebody else was going to talk about it, I did talk with the health department today about the amount of cases and the update as of today on the virus and what it's doing in Putnam County and Crescent City. That's what
Okay.
they want to know. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder.
Well, I think Michelle was going to do that part, I think.
Okay.
But does anyone have a question for the chief? You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Can you all hear? Nod your head.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody got any question for the chief?
I do have a question. Do you post the schedule of the officers working and who's on and who's off? And I mean, we've been the city's been closed for a long time, really. And is there kind of a timeline for when you guys will be opening your doors? Or, I mean, I'm just a normal kind of person here, and I don't really see a lot of our police too often. But so I was just curious if there's something, out there saying, who's working when and what times, and when are you guys going to actually open your doors?
Well, we're going to open our doors back under state guidelines when, along with the county, when the health department gives us this stuff. That was more of a decision made higher than me when they tell me open my doors, go ahead and open. I have seen you out. I've seen you walking a couple of times.
Well, that's good.
Right.
Yeah, but as far as scheduling, we don't post our schedule. I know new city manager is working on the website. Maybe that's something for the future to think about. I don't post it. Typically, police departments don't post their schedules, but you should be seeing us.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully soon, Cindy.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying that, it's pretty quiet around those, the city buildings. I mean, it basically looks like a ghost town there. So
I get it. I understand completely. And it's not fun for us neither. It's really not.
yeah, no, so that's what I'm curious about.
Okay.
That's something we will bring up. I think the mayor, I don't know if the mayor wants to touch on that, but I think he's doing the same thing, following the state guidelines, and the sheriff's and the other police departments.
Yeah. Mayor, do you want to speak to that? Do you have any idea when the city offices will be open, or is that just all to be determined? Brett, are you there?
I am. The chief is spot on. We take our direction from the state and from the governor, and I suppose probably maybe phase 2 might lead to that. But at this point, we're at phase 1, and you don't know. It could go back to pre-phase 1, but it looks like things are trending down right now. So hopefully, they make the decision based on a running 2-week average, and their target is to have less than 10% positive tests done. I think we're about 3.5%. Last numbers I looked at. So down here in the county, we're in good shape. But we've got the hot spots and that Miami, Lauderdale area, and Jacksonville, and some other areas. So the governor will look at that, and he'll be making decisions accordingly, and we'll take his cues from him.
Okay.
That sounds great. Chief, I think last call for questions for the chief. Anybody got anything?
I have a question, but I think I'm muted.
Nope, we can hear you.
You're good, Barbara.
Okay. Down at the intersection right across the street from the Women's Club where the Handyway is there any way to put a stop to this low rider music that goes on from 11 until 4 o'clock in the morning or something? It's so annoying. It's a continuous thing.
Down by 308 there? Okay.
308 and 17. They
Right.
just gang up there, and it's like, this crazy music wakes you up, keeps you up.
Understood. Okay. We'll get back on it. That's been a complaint. We thought we put a stop to it, but okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It starts down here about 7 o'clock in the evenings, and you can hear it even over on Prospect. You can hear it. And I don't know if you and Beth can hear it on your side, but it still shakes the house.
Mhm.
It started at
It's very
7,
annoying.
sometimes it goes in about 9 o'clock, and then a little later, and you'll hear it, and it'll literally shake the house.
Right.
The music that they're blaring from that.
Right, and then on South Main Street, where our house is, I can tell there's a steady procession of cars coming from the south of town, because it's car after car, which Donna Middleton, who's on the corner of Central and South Main, has problems with that off and on. But this past weekend, it starts about really 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and you can tell they're headed in the same direction. And then, people tell me that in the middle of town, there's the loud music. So I think there's kind of like a steady stream of cars heading in, and they've already got the loud music on.
The noise complaint, the steady noise complaint. I do stop by and see Donna and Choice out there quite a bit. Try and keep in touch with them. They keep on top of stuff. I think I talked to the mayor about this. The noise coming from the loud boom boxes as the cars are going by, that's been a problem. And we talked about other ways of addressing it, because unfortunately, and I've said this a bunch of times and I know people don't like it, the legislative has made that legal. As crazy as it sounds, and a mayor has been in touch with legislators about it, and disapproval with it. So I even said, is there, I know this has been brought up to council on the advice of our attorney, and that's just a problem nationwide. Or Florida. I don't know why they allow it. We can't stop it as a primary reason. So we thought about maybe other ways of stopping them, and that'd be a secondary offense, but it is not illegal, unfortunately.
Well, the noise seems to go along with other things. Along with the noise comes the open containers, blocking the street. They're partying on, they're not necessarily at private homes. Like the big party last weekend was at the Jethro Church, and the vacant building And we drove past there, or rode past on our bikes the other day, and it was just, full of trash. It's nuisance. And, I texted Brett, and he was able to go see what the problem was, and noted that there was a lot of pot smoke in the air. But it's more of a nuisance than just a noise problem.
Right. Well, here, let me kind of stop this right here, because I think everybody's had a chance to hear what's going on for those who aren't aware, and we've shared. But Brett and I are both on the call, and also it's not anything we can solve right now, but several people, people have gotten their chance to communicate about it. So I think I can safely say that it's something the chief sounds like he's going to be looking at how to address. And it's possible, he said the mayor has made some overtures, and I think this is something that the city is going to have to address in future, but we're not going to solve it here. So I'm going to say thanks to everybody for saying what's wrong. It's been, we'll have to hit it again from maybe several different directions. But at this point, I'd like to say thank you very much to Chief Carmen. Yay. Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I do. One of the residents mentioned to me, Chief, if she has some concerns because the cars are flying down. She lives on North Prospect, and the cars are flying down Florida. She said she's having a lot of issues with cars flying down Florida, and she's just wondering if there's some way they could do some traffic watch, if they could do speed bumps. I know that they've put that in the budget. That's something for the commission to look at, if we have some temporary speed bumps, just to kind of put those in different places around town. But she has a lot of concern. Of course, she has a lot of cats, and she says the cars are just become so dangerous down there, and they zoom down Prospect and they're zooming down Florida. And I know that you've, especially on South Prospect, you've really been monitoring it here. But I did tell her I would mention it to you and bring it to your attention.
No, absolutely appreciate it. One of the things I was, and I think it was from commission's discretion, is the new city manager got with me. He wanted some input from me and some of the actually public works director, I believe, and I don't want to speak on his behalf, but about where to place these speed bumps, or so he's working on that aspect too. But yes, absolutely, we'll go ahead and I do notice it is with everybody being inside, speeding has picked up, and I noticed our citations have picked up, and I've noticed on the Florida Police Chiefs Association, a lot of speeding tickets have picked up because just what you're saying is happening with less people on the road. So it's a concern. So.
Okay, thank you.
All
And
right.
for some reason, they're not speeding where we are. So, it seems to be a moving target. And I'm sorry to hear they're still speeding. Okay. Well, in that case, Chief, thank you so much, very much, for everything. And going down the agenda, the next thing we put on here was the multi-use trail project, which I think almost everybody on the call except Barbara Herseg and the Petersons and the Manos live on the trail route. So you probably already know about it. So I'll just be very brief. And if I say something wrong, Mayor, let me know. But this is the sidewalks that you see going in on South Prospect, Reed Avenue. It'll be Main Street, Grand Rondo. It's going to make kind of a little loop around the city. It'll be South Prospect to Central, then it'll switch over to North Prospect. And from Grand Rondo, it'll go towards 17 on Magnolia for the walking part. It's a walking part sidewalk, and then also the roads will be marked for bicycles. And I'll tell you how that happened. At North Prospect at Magnolia, it'll head towards 17, and then the bicycles will be routed from Grand Rondo up to Vernon to meet up at 17. It's federally funded. It's been in the works for years. It's part of the River to Sea loop that will one day, I have no idea when, be built. And the problem for Crescent City, this was approved, I don't know, there was a public meeting either in 2014 or 2016. I was there. A prior commission, even before 2016, approved it for Crescent City as just a little line. But the prototype or the standard multi-use trail is 12 feet wide. And the problem they ran into was in a 12 feet wide so that bikes could pass each other going in both directions. And if you will look at Prospect Street and Main Street, a 12-foot wide sidewalk wouldn't really fit very well there without, there just wasn't the right of way. So, and I was involved in this, the decision was made to divide it into sidewalk for the pedestrians and bicycle markings in the street for the bikes. So the bikes and the pedestrians will be separated. So right now they're working on South Prospect. They've already put a lot of sidewalk in on Reed Avenue going towards South Main Street. They're going to be working on Central, and they're also going to be working on Grand Rondo. And they put a schedule out about 3 weeks ahead of time. Some driveways will have to be blocked. I don't know if there's probably a couple people may have already had their driveways blocked, but people should be getting a door hanger when they're approaching your property. So that's really all I have to say about that. I think almost everybody on the call that is on the route pretty much knows about it. And it's a 6-month project. It's supposed to be done by October. So.
Who do we go to
Right.
if there's a complaint about what's being done? Who do we talk to?
Well, you could talk to Brett. He's the mayor. Brett, did you hear that?
She's speaking for me.
Go ahead, Beth.
I hear everything.
Okay, Brett. Well, there's, how did I say that? If they put a door hanger on your door, you can call the contractor. The county, because it's federal funds, the county is actually the administrator of this project. Mike Rodriguez has been designated with the county. Where did I go? Oh, Cindy, yes, there we go. Cindy put Mike Rodriguez as, can you see it, Ann?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay,
Yes.
Mike Rodriguez's email and phone number and extension number. He's with the County Public Works Department and he is their representative.
Okay.
Is this what was handed out to the residents? Someone came to our door and passed out a flyer about this. Is this what was passed out? Does anybody know?
Well,
I can't see the top of the letterhead. So
I don't know what.
we just had an issue, and we'll follow up on these phone numbers possibly.
Okay, or just,
Beth,
happy to talk.
these are found actually on the Crescent City website. And if you go into the Crescent City, on Florida, you can find this. It's right on the front page. And I just grabbed it off of there so that I could share it today and show that this is the information that's out there. There's actually quite a bit of information on the front page right now, which I found good.
Okay.
The other thing, the COVID-19, City Hall's operational via telephone, some of the things that we've already kind of discussed. I kind of waited because I knew somebody would have some questions about the trail, and I wanted to make sure that, this is right where I had this because I knew somebody would want to probably talk to Mike, and he's a pretty reasonable guy. So
We had we just had a situation. We have a gravel dirt driveway all the way from the street to the lake, and they insisted that it was in the plans and they had to put the cement driveway across, which they did today. But there's a lip that's about this high, and in order to get into our driveway, we have to hit this bump, and they said they're going to fill it in with dirt. That washes away, I would think. But what we need to ask someone is, our neighbor has an apron from the sidewalk down to the street that gradients down to the street. We don't have any kind of an apron, and so we have to hit this bump, and then we have to go down, and so we needed to speak to somebody about that. So it's
Okay, well,
pretty
that
pretty
that would be
pretty upset.
Mike Rodriguez, but thank you for letting us know.
Okay.
The mayor's on the call. I'm on the call. I can tell you later how to get in touch with me.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure the county is administering it, but in the city.
County's administering. Okay, I'm just
You
writing.
know, Beth, it's
Wanna
funny
make-
you mentioned, it's funny that you mentioned that lip. You know, we were walking the other day and I noticed that lip that you're talking about. It's about 3.5, 4 inches.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, boy, somebody's not going to be happy about that. And here you are tonight. So yeah.
How about that? Well, we'll work on it. Thank you so much. So
Mhm.
Okay, well, that's what this is for.
I appreciate it.
Great. Anything else? Because we wanted to move along to the most wonderful subject of the whole year, COVID-19. Is that okay? Can we move on to that? Okay.
Oh yeah.
But my cat wants to be fed. Okay. The first thing I want to let everybody know is that there is a daily report from the state on how many cases there are statewide. It's on the Department of Health website, and hold on, I've got to get my little papers in order here. It's on the Department of Health website, and also, how many people here, raise your hand or nod your head, already are signed up for the Putnam County Emergency Management Notification System? It's called Putnam Alert. Cindy's signed up. Beth, you get that? Barbara, do you get it?
I get it.
Michelle, Chris gets it. Ann Towery, how about you?
I don't recall getting it.
Okay.
Crescent
So-
City Alert.
No, Putnam County Alert.
Oh, I don't think I do.
Okay, so the bottom line is usually, okay, there's a website you can go to. It's kind of odd. It's member.everbridge, that's one word, EVERBRIDGE.net. And when you go to that website, it says right at the top, Putnam Alert, and there's a big button that you press on if you want to sign up, and you can get alerts on your email, on your phone, by call or text. And what they originally used it for, these are all the things that they will tell you about, and I think you can opt in. Weather service alerts like tornado warnings, hurricane warnings, emergency incidents, evacuation notices, God forbid if we had a fire, boil water notices, missing persons, criminal activity notices. We don't tend to get those. And you can get those alerts in any format. And what they're doing now is the alert includes a daily email about how many cases that we have and hospitalizations and all that. And also, if you're getting the alerts, if you ever have a problem, and you will want to know this, there's a call center in the county operated by the Department of Health. It's 386-329-1904 during business hours. If you think you're sick or want to be tested or you have a question about COVID-19, that's the number that you call with the county. But anyway.
That number again, please.
Okay, it should be on your Putnam Alert page, I think, but it's 386-329-1904.
Okay.
And
I get the alert, but I don't think I have that telephone number.
Is that the Emergency Operations Center?
That's
Because
the
that
health.
runs till 8 in the
That-
evening.
Right, it's called the call center line. I think the Department of Health actually handles it.
Yeah.
That's where you can go with specific COVID questions.
Okay.
So that's on the Putnam Alert information. There we go. Right, that's member.everbridge.net. But I think I got the call center line off of the actual daily bulletin that we get. So not the recorded number, but the direct number. Okay. And so Michelle, I think you wanted to give us the gory figure.
Well, you just kind of went through a lot of my,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've spoken to the health department,
Right.
and they said that call center number is the number that you want to call for just about any question that you're going to have regarding the COVID-19, including if you need to set up an appointment to be tested. They suggest that you call that number also, and they will walk you through and help you get your appointment. Chief, you said you spoke to them today. Is there some information that you can share that maybe I might not have gotten because you're a little more official than I am?
Okay. No, I just spoke to him because I wasn't sure if anybody's going to talk about it. I didn't know you had it, and pretty much got it. They just gave me the total cases and the death, and I can go over the report on that if you like real quick.
Okay. They gave, I have that we have, it went between 126 and 129. It looks like we've had some more added today. And I know it looks like we have a 74-year-old male in Crescent City that has been added, and a 28-year-old woman that was added over the weekend. We went 3 straight days without anybody, any cases, but then they did pick up. And so right now I'm showing 126, but I also think there's a number out there that's showing 129. Is that what you're showing, Chief?
Pretty close. I got one. I heard about the 74-year-old, and I got 127 total cases with 7. Now, here's the thing. They didn't break it down to the city of Crescent City. They said 7 with Crescent City addresses, but you all know that's
32112 zip code.
Yeah. Yeah. And they just
Not
did
to
that.
Fruitland.
I do know that, I'm not saying this is good news, bad news, but I know that we had 4 deaths and they dropped that down to 2 because I asked what dropped it down to 2. It was a transfer. I guess they were transferred in. They didn't actually came from Putnam County, according to the public information officer. But everything else is pretty much on what Michelle said. Pretty much the same.
They're saying that testing right now. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just saying, talking about testing, I don't know if this is coming up soon. They want more testing. And I was told for us to expect all first responders, police officers to expect to be tested soon. But with a new kind of testing, a mouth swab, not the Q-tip up the nasal area. So.
I know they're working on a new test too, but she said that right now everybody is eligible to be tested, but you do need to either set something up through this call center, or you need to set something up with your doctor. And they said that Ava, which used to be Azalea out on Union, that they are performing the test, but you do need to contact them. And their number is 386-698-2368. She said that anybody that is showing symptoms takes priority over anybody that has been exposed. Just so you know, but she said everybody now is eligible to be tested. And I know the governor, you know, we're in phase 1, but right, except for it was Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade, and they still are on lockdown. But today they lifted Palm Beach. They put Palm Beach into phase 1. And in those that were already in phase 1, he opened up, thank goodness, the barber shops, hair salons, and nail salons for all of us that are a little desperate right now. So that's the good, that is the good news. I also spoke to Linda Myers, and she said that the county office here, you know, the satellite office that we have here at the county, it is now open to the public. They'll only allow 6 in at a time. They prefer that you make an appointment. That number, if you want to make an appointment, is 386-329-0282. If they have more than 6 people show up, they have a receptionist now. You go in You check in with the receptionist. They opened up last Tuesday to the public. They've been open, but just by appointment only. And she said the receptionist, if there's more than 6 people, then you're asked to stay in your car, wait outside, and they will come and get you when they can, or if you see somebody exit, then you can also come in at that time. They are not performing any driver's license testing across the county right now. They don't have those, they don't have the ability to do that because they don't want anybody in anyone else's car. So I hate that for all those 16-year-olds that just couldn't wait to get their driver's license. But she said they are working with Highway Safety and Motor Vehicle, and they're putting together something that's going to help them. The other good thing, just added, not with COVID, is that they will start providing where you can get your concealed weapons permit at the satellite office here in Crescent City. Before, you had to go to Putnam, you had to go up to Palatka. She said they were supposed to do that, start that in April, but of course everything got a little waylaid. But she said once they get that they will be able to offer that here in Crescent City also. And I think that is pretty much, you know, the big thing is social distancing. I mean, no matter what, always please try to stay six feet from everyone. Face mask, you know, they're encouraging everybody wear a face mask, whether you're infected or not infected, just for the safety of others. I'm happy to see as we go into the various stores here that people are trying to adhere to that. It does make it a little difficult to smile at people, so we've got to learn to smile with our eyes, but you can stick your tongue out at people, and they do not know that you're sticking their tongue out at them. So that's always a benefit to having the mask on. But it's, you know, people are trying really hard. I know that, you know, they're really trying hard to adhere to that and be respectful of others. I think we've seen a lot of kindness that has come from this. That to me has been definitely a benefit, because just like the chief said, you know, and that's brought some attention to us that, you know, we have a lot of seniors in the community, and that's something that we should start back up. I think back in the past, and I mentioned it to Lisa, that in the past we had that where we had a list and they checked in every day, and I had even volunteered and told the chief that I would be more than happy to, you know, make phone calls if needed to check in with people just to make sure they were safe and that, you know,
be on TV.
So that's something that, you know, is a good thing. So there's a lot of good that's coming from this. And you see people out on our streets. It's so nice. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed that, but you see people walking and biking, and before we really didn't see a lot of people out on our streets. So I know I've enjoyed seeing neighbors. So is there any questions anybody has?
Yes, quick question.
Yes.
Hi, I wondered if there was any antibody testing going on that we know of or coming up or available in the near future, antibody testing.
Now they didn't talk about that. I don't know. I know they're trying. I think federally they're trying to work on that. And I guess the mayor and the chief, you know, they go to those meetings weekly. They would have more on the antibodies. They're looking for people, I do know, that are willing to be tested for the antibodies so that they can do, you know, more and more studies. You know, there's some different effects that I know that are coming off of this that they're finding. And right now, you know, New York has it with their children, and the children have developed, and it's kind of an I don't even know what they want to call it, but they believe that it has to do with having COVID, and that the children are experiencing, it's more like they have allergies with a temperature, and then it escalates. And right now, as of this morning, they had over 60 cases in New York, and they had 4 deaths of children that have died from this. And they say it's something, it's just one of those offshoots that's coming off of this virus. My husband actually today was talking to his doctor, and he said they're seeing some other things. You know, there's some brain issues that are coming out. There's some blood clots that are occurring. There's just various things that they're just not sure of, you know, and why it's happening. And I believe, did anybody hear that our doctor that he's had to go into some sort of a quarantine because 2 people that are right there directly in the Capitol, I mean, in Washington, that they have tested positive. So there's several people that they're having to be very cautious with right now.
Right.
But I don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay, Lisa, you had something to say, Lisa?
Yes, I want to jump in because Michelle talked about protecting ourselves. If anyone needs masks, there is on social media today, I saw Lee, who works at the pharmacy at Winn-Dixie, said that right now they have some paper masks that they're selling individually. I don't know if they'll have them tomorrow. They got a box in. And also Maddie Madison makes cloth masks. People have said that they're available at Ace Hardware. And Maddie lives on Lake Street, and I have her number and her email if anyone wants to get it from me later. So those are potentially 2 places if you need a mask that you can get a mask. And of course you can also Google it. And by the way, did Cheryl Snyder on South Prospect come in late? Cheryl Snyder's here. So anyway, so potentially you can get masks locally. And that's Maddie Madison was going to come tonight, but she said she has 29 masks to make. So, which is a lot.
Okay.
That's all I have. Is the mayor there?
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing I can add to that is I talked to Mary Garcia, the health officer for the county, and I think she got the impression that they were limiting the antibody test to first responders and so on. And she didn't have a whole lot of confidence in the test.
Right.
She said that your antibodies are in your system for a short amount of time. So you could have had the virus and then it's going to show negative. And you think that, the antibodies would be in your bloodstream. They are, but she is saying that they are not in there for but a couple of weeks.
Right. So, I mean, and I've also read that, there's no real scientific determination that the antibodies really can tell. They can't guarantee that you have immunity. Some people want to know, of course, did I actually have it? Was that cough I had or that illness or whatever, COVID-19? And unfortunately, some of the tests will say if the person had any kind of coronavirus, not just COVID-19. So the tests aren't perfect. Oh, hi, Robert DeFranco. Robert DeFranco's on there too. So have we covered the virus? Because we have a couple more things on the agenda and a couple of announcements, a little time for announcements. Are we ready to move on to the next item?
Lisa?
And, yes.
Yeah, I just want to mention that beginning of the week, I went into a physician for a regular appointment, and he looked at my eyes and they were yellow and jaundiced, so sent me over to Advent Health, the big, tall hospital over on 95 in Daytona. And I had a blockage in my little tube near the pancreas. Anyway, they went in, but my point is that they have 2 floors right now in that entire large hospital building. One is COVID-19 patients that either have symptoms or have tested positive, and then they have another floor with acute people. When I went in the first time, they did the saliva test where you kind of spit into a tube and they do that test. And then when they were admitting me, I was in for 4 days. They did the rapid one where they put the the Q-tip up your nose, and I tested negative on both, thank goodness. So they're sort of overwhelmed over there. The nurses are working very long shifts, and I saw a nurse run out to the parking lot to give her kid a hug. She hadn't seen him in a week, and run back into the building.
Wow.
But it's a great facility over there, and they're doing a good job. I also wanted to mention that my organization, the Florida Center for Behavior Analysis, has partnered with Donna Cooney and the Turning Table, and we're now offering some therapy and counseling sessions for people who need that, and she has a grant that helps with that. So if we have any people in the community, I'm seeing a few people right now. I'm actually seeing a law enforcement officer, not in our area, But if there's anybody that needs that type of counseling, or the kids or something like that, we have the resources available for that over at the turning table.
Wow. And does everyone know who would they contact, Robert?
They could contact me, or they can contact Donna, I suppose. Either one, I could give a phone number. And
Okay.
my wife, Regina, who works at the St. John's Recovery Place, is completing a program now, and she'll be a certified, it's a certified investigative therapist for people, addiction therapist. Okay, and that's something that they do over there, but it's also something that can be done on an outpatient basis. There are medications now that are opioid antagonists that can reduce the craving for alcohol and drugs and such. So working in combination with the therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, which is something that we do, and as well as with the physician, we can sometimes help people who have these addictions.
Okay, so Robert, what is your email? Would you want people to email you or call you?
My phone number is 800-613-1497, and email would be, they could just use Extreme Science, EXTREM Science at Hotmail, either of those.
Okay, well, Robert, thank you for a live report on what is going on at the big Advent Hospital over in Ormond. That's the one right off of 95. And I hope you're getting better.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, but thank you. That's very eye-opening to hear. And I don't know if you heard me say just before that you can get masks made locally, since, Michelle.
Well, I've got those. I've got R95s.
Right. Well, Michelle was just saying before, social distancing and observing all the precautions, wear a mask when you go out to the store is very important, because we don't want to wind up in Ormond Beach Hospital. So thank you so much.
Well, and that's the other thing too, and I'm sure that Robert, you found that, is that if you have anything happen to you, basically you go to the hospital and they take you in, but no family can go in, and you have to be dropped off. And that's for procedures too, because they did open up that you could have your, voluntary type procedures that you need to have. They opened it up that you could have that. But I know we have a dear friend, and her son, he's 19 years old. He had to have his colon removed last week, and she literally had to drop him off at Mayo Hospital in Jacksonville, 5:30 in the morning, and she could not see him again for 4 days until they picked him up. And so, that's with what Robert's saying, is that, so many of these family members, that's hard to deal with. That's hard, and that's also for our first responders. That's what they're trying to deal with so much right now, is that these people are by themselves, and they're having to administer care, both emotionally and physically. So thank you, Robert, for bringing that to all of our attention.
Right. So stay well, stay safe. Be sure you don't cut your finger off in the kitchen. You don't want to go to the hospital.
You do not want to go to the hospital right now.
Right. You don't want to go. Well, Michelle, Robert, Brett, everyone, thank you. The two final things we have on the agenda are announcements, and which will come next. We did want to mention, and Brett, I don't know if you want to speak to this at all. The City Council will be meeting on Thursday, the second Thursday. It's regularly scheduled meeting, but it will be by Zoom. And the agenda is on the city webpage, www.crescentcity-fl.com. And if you click on that agenda, one page is the agenda. And Cindy showed, I think, the webpage. And then the other, this page basically, and Brett, if I say something wrong, let me know. The information about the public can watch the meeting, as I understand it, and there's a YouTube link, or there's a Zoom app. The information is on this page with the red stuff, but members of the public will have two options to make comments. Members of the public, as I understand it, will not be able to Zoom in live the way we are today. So you can email before 12 noon on Thursday to the email publiccomments@crescentcity-fl.com, and that's on the webpage, or you can write down your written comments and mail them into City Hall with a 400-word limit, and the letter has to be received on time. So to be safe, you would probably have to mail your letter tomorrow to get your written comment in. So this is a little bit different. So we're going to be on YouTube for the city council meeting. You can listen. And I don't see anything on there, there's no ordinances listed to vote on or anything of that nature. James and Moore is going to present the audit. They'll be going over the audit, and then there'll be an update on city projects. There are various construction projects going on. And there'll be an update from Linda Myers, tax collector, and there'll be information about COVID-19 and various reports. But it's on the city webpage. Brett, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, you can drop your letter off, your questions off, put it in at the billing chute, what do you call it, on the north end of the building of City Hall?
The utility payment drop box. I think that's.
Put it in there. Put it in there. We'll get it.
Okay, but they should probably do it by noon on Thursday?
Sure.
Or I don't know. I mean, certainly not 5:59, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's not okay. So City Commission is going to be on YouTube. And then last but not least, we have time for announcements. Some have already been made. The Purple Plum Players texted me today, Lorene Faulkner, the president, and she said she just wanted everybody to know that the Purple Plum Players, who are a local drama group, they do theater, dinner theater, and radio theater. They had to cancel their spring season, but they plan to be back on track in the fall. And I think, Mayor, you were in a play that got canceled. Is that not right?
That's correct. And I hope we still end up doing it.
Right. What was the name of the one that you were rehearsing for?
It was called, Chris, do you remember that? It
was kind of a mystery, wasn't it? Or
Yeah. It's a murder mystery.
That's it. And were you the murderer?
You're gonna have to pay good money and find out.
Right, pay good money, find out. But anyways,
I think it was called Disorder in the Court.
That's it.
Oh, there you go. All right. So that's what the Purple Plum has to say. Anybody else got announcements? Barbara Hertzeg for the Women's Club. Anything? Are you still here?
Barbara is no longer with us.
Okay. Well, I think her dog needed attention, or whatever. Cindy, you wanted to mention about calling all artists?
Yeah, I had a thought, and basically for the fall, it would be nice to call all the artists in Crescent City, actually, all of the cottage industries really that we have, but there's a lot of artists here in Crescent City, and try and get something where everybody is displaying their wares, so to speak, at their own homes, and we can have a drive-through Crescent City, stopping and hopefully selling their wares across the city, just to draw some people in and show off our restaurants and those kinds of things. So yeah, Carl will be going out to see how many people we can get interested in this, because I think it's important to show off what we do have here. And I know Cheryl likes buttons. I know Michelle does soap. Tracy and I do lamps and all kinds of, we repurpose a lot of different things. But I'm sure there's a lot of other people that do a lot of different things out there that we don't know about. And so it would be nice to get us all out on our front lawns, so everybody feels secure, and have people, again, just drive through so no one's really kind of caught in a little tent or in an area all together. I think that might work pretty nice. So That's all I have to say.
Well, I think that sounds cool. It's kind of like a more interesting version of the, we used to have a community yard sale, but I think this is like even more cool. I mean,
Yeah.
way more cool. The other was nice, but this is cool. Any other announcements, concerns?
Go ahead, Michelle.
I think we need to talk about, this came up this last week, how dry we are right now and making sure that people are not burning in their backyards, their trash, anything. And you've got a lot of people, especially that have property, you want to make sure that if they do want to burn anything, that they contact the Division of Forestry. And for Putnam County, the number to contact for a burn authorization is 352-395-4951. That many of you probably saw in the news last week, and actually it was about a quarter mile from where we lived up in the Panhandle right there in Walton County. Sheriff Atkinson, they did an outstanding job with getting information out to everyone. But the gentleman was burning on the one side of 98, the bay side of 98, illegally. He did not get an authorization. The wind caught it, and they ended up burning over 600 acres and 33 homes right there at the beach. It jumped the highway and went over to the beach side, which is where we lived, went through, and it took down 33 homes. Now, that gentleman is in a tremendous amount of trouble at this point in time. And all he, he'd have just called and gotten some permission, or they would have told him not to burn at this time. There was a fire there. There was also a fire up in Pensacola. So they were fighting two of them at the same time. But that one happened in less than 24 hours, and they evacuated. I mean, all of our friends from up there got evacuated. It was pretty bad there for 24 hours. But that's just real important. And I know that Pat, I'm disappointed Pat's not here. I'm sorry that Pat's not here. That Pat had mentioned that she saw somebody burning something in their backyard. And I don't even believe that with our city charter that you're even allowed to burn trash in your backyard in the city.
Yeah,
so,
I went and looked at that today, and someone was burning some pretty big trees over on Magnolia between 17 and Grand Rondo. And
okay.
Mayor, I don't even remember. I thought there was an ordinance.
Within the city limits, you are going to have to get a permit.
Right. So no burning without a permit, right?
That's correct.
That's just real important. And if you see your neighbor doing it, stop them, because it might not take down their house, but it could take down your house. And all of these homes, a lot of them are stick built. Over there, the same thing. A lot of those homes, they're stick built, and it's just boom, like that, because they're more of a beach style home, cottage home. And so that's just the one thing I would have to say is that right now, especially with it being so dry, is just, and that's even for those little fires that we want in the little fire pits in our backyard. You just have to be so careful right now.
Absolutely. Sorry about your old neighborhood. So, that's awful. But anything else? Any comments before we all head out to dinner or feeding the dog or cat or having a nice walk or whatever it is we're doing? Any last call for comments? And Towery, are you? No, nothing? Okay, well.
Lisa, I just want to thank, Lisa?
Yeah. Yes.
I just want to thank you guys for putting this on. This was great, because we haven't had a meeting in a while.
We lost Tracy, I guess.
Oh,
kind of nice we're in the same house, huh?
all right. Well, Chief, thank you for being here. Mayor, thank you for being here. Everybody, thank you for coming. I guess my question is, if we're still limited in groups meeting, would those on the call want to do a Zoom again for Crescent City Connection next month? Would you want to have regularly scheduled meeting? And you can unmute yourself, or I saw Chris did a thumbs up.
We enjoyed it.
And I think
Okay.
how do we get it out there for more people? I mean, that's the one thing is I think more people at the next meeting. This was good. This was, I think, a good group because we're all kind of learning and working our way through this. But, for the future, I think all of us, let's just try to make sure that everybody knows and our neighbors know,
Okay.
to add people to it.
Right.
Well, I
So,
think if we decide to do this again for next month,
yes.
we just need to get our flyers out a little earlier and then get our flyers out, like a week before so people are reminded. And that's about all we can do, really. Right now, it's been tough because there's no place to put flyers. The library's still closed.
No place.
Yeah, there's just a lot of places that normally we would hang flyers that are not open yet. But as soon as phase 2 or phase 1 or whenever the heck that happens, hopefully we can get the word out.
Cindy,
So,
Yes.
can you give us a who sends these notices out? Because I've got two friends that have been to the meetings before and they've given their email addresses, but they did not get this notice.
oh, and that's me.
Is it you? Okay.
Yeah, and frequently people write down their email, but their handwriting is not legible.
Ooh. Okay.
So just collect their name, tell them to email me. We try our best, but sometimes we just can't read what they write.
Okay.
And we don't want anybody to be left out. And of course, if you get an email, share it with your friends. That really helps. Crescent City is not that big.
Right.
It takes emailing, texting. If you'd like a few flyers to share with your neighbors, you can make that happen. So,
Sounds good.
all right.
Thank you.
Was
Any
it put
idea?
on next door?
Oh, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was it on next
I
door?
I did not put it on next door, and I should have, but I did not.
okay. Well, next time it'll be on next door. Is that
Yes.
Okay.
Well, next door was full of trash issues. I don't know if anybody's been on next door here lately, but
right?
there must have been 100 people talking about their trash cans and how they're all getting smashed up and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's
well,
something we probably should have brought up at this meeting, but
No, it's okay. It's.
Yeah.
I think there's been enough attention paid to that, and I don't want to talk about it with Brett. That's what we know we stay away from.
yeah.
So,
The other thing, if you have a friend that cannot, doesn't have Zoom, doesn't have a computer, doesn't want to do that, they can also call in.
Yes, on their
It's
phone.
it's a New York number that they're given, but if they call in and they have the meeting code and the passcode, they can join the meeting by their phone.
right.
This meeting came together kind of quick, and I want to thank Lisa and Michelle and Tracy, but it came together so quick. We just didn't know quite how to get everybody here this time around. But I'm sure with our next meeting we'll be just a little bit more organized, and hopefully we can, because I was trying to make Michelle a co-host where she can pay attention to people and I could just sit here and be pretty. But it just, some things just kind of didn't come together quite as easily as what you think, So
I thought
hopefully
it was great.
next time, things will come together better. Let's put it that way.
I think y'all did a good job.
Cindy, I think it was awesome. I think it worked out from our end. You couldn't tell there were any technical problems, and I know it's a lot of grief and probably some tension for you, but it looked wonderful, and I think everybody got to hear and participate. So
It's nice to see everyone's face. Everyone's face.
The best part of a Zoom meeting, and I think we might continue this in the future, is you don't have to do the back of your hair.
I'm in pajama
I'm not
pants.
getting up and
There,
turning
there you
around.
go,
You don't have to wear pants either if you don't want to, but you definitely do
Few
not
folks have been
to
caught with that.
do- You
So.
don't have to do the back of your hair.
Don't get up for the pledge.
I'd like to see Chris better. Their whole family is in the dark. I can't see them.
A little dark.
Together to do it, so. We'll
They're
find out.
backlit.
right.
That's what I mean. It'll get better. The more you do these things, the better things get. So
Yes.
So until we can meet in person, then we're going to do a Zoom call. And also, I particularly want to thank Brett and Robert and Chief and Gus Manos for being gentlemen on the call, for making sure that, you know, we have everybody. So that's good. So
All
anyway,
right.
so don't forget about City Commission on Thursday. And just many thanks to everyone. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.